Everyone, welcome to For His Namesake. We are so glad that you have joined us today. On June 7, and today is June 4, June 7 will mark 1 year of us being homeless, and so we thought we would do an update of all that we've gone through and things that we've learned. And I've got some notes here just because my memory's not the best these days, and I was going to ask some questions and we were going to answer them. And if you have any other extra questions that you would ask, be sure to put that just in your comments down below. And also, for those of you who don't know why we are the way we are, my husband will put in the description box below a link that talks about our house foreclosing and why we are the way we are today. But really, it all goes down to the fact that God wanted us to be this way, and we're not complaining, and we're just letting you know that that's how it is. So I will begin by asking some questions, and I will answer them too. So the first one would be, what have we learned, both good and bad, while we've been on this year-long journey? Whoever wants to go first.
Well, we've learned that we live in a pickup, basically, in a 4-door pickup, and one thing we've learned is it's a lot smaller than a house. You know, everybody's got their own little space about this big. You know, that's theirs, and you know, we try to keep things like that. And well, the other daughter has moved out into an apartment, but while she was there, it created less space in the back because there are 3 people living in the back seat. Me and Martina were in the front with a console between us, so we only have so much room. And there's only so much you can bring with you. You can't bring everything with you. Yeah, most of your conveniences at home that you used to have, or it's either in a storage or we just don't have room for it. So we just have to learn to deal with a lot less.
Yes.
And one thing, in that foreclosure video, I don't think we explained why we're living in the truck and why not in the shelter. I can't remember if we mentioned why not. In our city, there are no shelter homes except for women and children that come out of domestic violence.
Right.
And other than that, there's public housing, but you're on a wait list, and a lot of times it's not the safest area to be. And quite frankly, I would much prefer living the way we are now than in a public housing situation.
Yes. Same here.
Yes.
Definitely. Yeah. And I would say that the thing that I learned is that, we're from Texas, and we spend a lot of time in Fort Worth and Dallas, where homelessness is a normal thing. People wouldn't think anything of it. Just hand the guy some money or food or nothing of it. But here, I've learned already immediately in the first month or two, I was okay. I just thought, hey, we just did our sorting of clothes right there in the public parking lot of a grocery store, and I didn't think anything of it. And then we started to get, harassed by some teen boys that did not like us being the way that we are. And that's when I started to feel, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a minority, not special, all the negative feelings that go with that. And that's how it's been pretty much for most of the homeless journey. I've had a lot of joy as well, but that's still there. And so I'm very self-conscious. Oh no, there's somebody coming, quickly, let's hide everything. And we used to have a tarp with ropes and everything, and that was very noticeable. I think we were the only ones in this entire city that drove around with that, so that was very noticeable.
Yes.
And it was a lot of work, because anytime anybody wanted something from the back, like water or a change of clothing or whatever, Mike over here would have to undo the rope knots, and there was a whole lot of knots to go through. And it was a hassle, and it was very noticeable.
Yes.
And it's really hard to have privacy here. And whenever we do find privacy, a bunch of people walk up out of nowhere, or they drive up. And so there's been a lot of that. So just like fear is taught, I would think that also bad things, like a certain thought process is also a taught thing. For example, I was okay with sorting out the clothes in public at first until we were harassed in a bad way. Then I started to get more self-conscious. So that's what I learned. I learned that it's not a good thing to tell everybody that we're homeless. People frown upon that. At least they do here. Maybe not in other cities, but here they do.
Yeah.
Okay, so now the next question would be, and these are not in any order, do you have any great memories that you want to share? Because we do have great memories. I know that I do. If you can't think of any, I can go first. My greatest memory is Christmas Eve this past year in 2024, when we celebrate Christmas Day like y'all celebrate. Maybe most Americans celebrate Christmas Day, opening their presents on Christmas Day, which is the 25th of December. But our family does it the European way, which is, or at least the German way, that's how I was brought up, on Christmas Eve. That's when we open our presents, we do some song singing, we will have a nice meal when we had a home, that kind of thing. But since we didn't have a home, we just pretty much did the best we could just in our truck, and the five of us, when we had all five of us together, we had a nice meal. We got some nice breads and some nice hams. And I know that's very expensive, and you're probably thinking, wow, spending a lot of money as a homeless family, but that was a once in a lifetime kind of a luxury thing that we got to do and enjoy, even if it was at a grocery store parking lot. And we were the only ones out there, and I remember it not being the best weather in the world. I think it was either raining or it was cold and miserable, and everybody else was in their cozy little homes. But it was a very memorable night for me. I will never forget it. I would think that was probably one of my better Christmas Eves for me personally, to be with my family, all close-knit in one little area together, and we had so much joy that night. And I know Christmas is not about that. Of course not. It's about Jesus' birth. But still, we were able to celebrate that together as a family that evening, the way we were then. Mm-hmm. Do y'all have any great memories?
I would say that would probably be mine too. We also did that for Thanksgiving too.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm thinking, how did we do turkey? I think we pre-bought it, or?
No. I forgot what we did for. No, we didn't get a turkey, I don't think.
Yeah.
I forgot.
But that was your great memory. Do you have a great memory?
Well, about the only I could think of is, doing this channel. You're thinking, like, I don't have, we're homeless. What are we gonna do? You can look in our past videos like why we don't have jobs and stuff. But this channel and turning it into a ministry has been a great memory for me. It's given me like a purpose in life. It's something that keeps us busy, and we can help somebody. By they look at our lives and seeing that we are making it through tough times, and
with the help of God.
Yes.
Yes.
And through that we can, I don't know. I hate to be inspiring, but I hate that word.
Encouraging, maybe.
Yeah, I don't like to. It's uncomfortable for me to when people say, "Oh, you're so inspiring," you blah blah blah. It is really uncomfortable for me. So I'm not used to that. So but all glory and credit goes to God for anything good that happens to us.
I would like to add one more thing that I think would be a great memory for you ongoing, is that this is the first time that Mike has been able to disc golf. He likes to disc golf, and he has been able to do it in abundance. Not here lately because it's been raining, but he's been disc golfing a lot since we've been on this year-long journey, much more so than when we lived in a home. Isn't that interesting?
Pretty close, yeah.
I think because we've been closer and we didn't have to drive to the park to get it done. Probably, yeah.
And for those of you who are new, that's where we do our outside singing songs at the disc golf park.
Yes, that's right. Or most of them. Sometimes we do it in the truck if the weather's bad, then we do it in the truck.
It's all weather permitting.
Right, yeah. Okay. And we see that you all like the outdoors because we seem to have less views when we're in the truck for whatever reason, singing or doing a talk, than we are out in the open. Isn't that interesting? I think people prefer being outside or seeing us outside, whichever. Okay. How has our walk with the Lord been since that? Has it been the same, gotten worse, gotten better? Have we learned anything? Has God taught us anything? Who wants to go first?
I would say it's been up and down for me. I know in the very beginning I had a great faith and a lot more thankful. And I am still thankful, but I would say now I have to really work at it, especially when we get harassed or situations happen that we haven't even told you about. Like just recently, it was pretty bad. I was pretty
Shook up.
Yeah, shook up. So those moments, it is hard, but after I looked back on that situation, God reminded me of, even if He doesn't get me out of a certain situation, it doesn't mean that He Himself is not there.
Right.
So that was an important lesson to learn for me.
Thank you.
Yeah. That, being homeless, you are relying on God a lot more than we did when we had a house at home and everything. Here, we don't have much, and God, protects us. He's done so many times. He's provided for our needs when we needed something, and He's always there, for us. And it's noise. Anyway, it's just He just feels so much closer than He did when we were at home.
Yes.
I don't know, are they going to be up here soon?
I'll just talk louder.
Okay.
And the thing that I've learned is that I have gotten closer to God just because He's kind of shown me, look, Martina, look at all the beauty I have created. Because when I was in the home, I was basically in my bedroom and just doing my own thing. I like to do those little variety puzzle workbooks, or I'd listen to music, or I'd be on my laptop. I wasn't really looking outside at God's beauty, except for some animals that would come by. We had some cattle that would come by and they would kind of moo and talk to us. But I've really been able to see face to face just God's beauty all around me, whether it's in a beautiful sunset, or the sun going down, or beautiful flowers I'm seeing right here in front of me now, or greenery, trees, all the animals. Goodness, I've never noticed so many. I mean, we've seen birds before, but now we get to see them up close, right there in front of us, or squirrels, or a lot of dogs in this city. So it's still God's creation. He's the one that made the first one, the wolf, I guess. But yeah, so my walk with the Lord has sure gotten a lot stronger. That's for sure. There's no excuse really for not being close to God. So when we see other homeless people about that are, and I'm not judging, but we've seen them on drugs or alcohol, and people have probably shared Jesus with them, but I'm just wondering, how can they not see God's beauty all around them? Because they're living in it, they're walking in it daily. So for me, I would say my walk with the Lord has definitely strengthened, and that's not anything I did, that's what God did. Yeah. Okay. What are some inconveniences you'd like to share?
Sorry, there is this bug that is like
insects.
Yes, he likes me. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Insects. Mosquitoes really, really bad.
They're really
especially
bad
after the rain.
They were really bad last year.
Yeah, mosquitoes. Noise like this. We don't even know what that is right now. I think it's some kind of a trash truck or something. I don't know what it is, but it's very loud.
I think it is a generator.
Yeah, it's very loud, and so we have to put up with that a lot in this town. That's just how it is.
Right.
The inconvenience of doing our talks or singing in the truck. That's an inconvenience. It's hard to play your guitar in a cramped space.
Exactly. Especially for me, I have very long legs. I'm very tall. I'm 5'10", and and I just sit in the back, and it's really cramped back there. Even if we were to get everything out of the truck, it's just not a whole lot of room. Yeah, so it is pretty cramped. And I would say again, the sorting of clothes, just before we do laundry the day before, we sort all of our clothes by colors or by if it needs to be done on warm or cold, and so we put those all in clear recycling bags, and it's pretty noticeable. So we try to do that at the park, but it never fails. There's always somebody that drives up just in that moment when we think, oh yay, we're all by ourselves, and then here comes somebody. And then the interesting thing is that they like to park next to us. We've never understood that. I guess we are amusing to them, maybe. Some of them will actually sit in their truck and just watch. So I don't know. And the same is when we go to the YMCA again, if we have to pack our bags there to take showers and things like that, they just drive right up and park right next to us. And I'm thinking, can't we have any privacy? So those are some of the inconveniences, I think.
Yes.
You got anything to add? I've been babbling away here.
That's true. Well, another one is with us that we don't have any privacy. A lot of times in a home, if you have a disagreement with somebody, you can go to your room and cool off. We can't do that here. If you have disagreement with somebody and just need a place to go cool off, you can't go to your room. You have to actually physically leave to pick up and then walk around
and people can see our emotions. They can see that we're upset or crying or
and so
irritated.
Right. You don't have the privacy of a home, and it makes it more public. When we have when things aren't going right for us.
Right.
So that is a big inconvenience.
Yeah, and I would need to add also going to the bathroom. Especially for us ladies, guys, they can just go somewhere, in the bush. But us ladies,
Not town.
well, I know, but I'm talking like if we were at a park somewhere, you could just go there. But us ladies, we can't pull down our, you just can't do that. Maybe in other countries, but we can't do that here. Get in trouble for public indecency or whatever they call it. So that's the inconvenience of having to go to a gas station, and they're not always the cleanest, or the same people see you over and over again, the ones that work there, and they think, oh, here comes that family again, and I get self-conscious again, like, oh, I wish I could just hide under some shelf or something, but that is an inconvenience.
Yeah. And living in the city full time.
Right.
I'm not used to it. Back home, we always lived in the suburbs, so you don't really get your privacy there anyway, but we did have our own yard where if I needed to, I could go out and get some sort of quiet. But here it's just constant people and traffic and hearing bad language a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad language here. Yeah.
And we're not trying to complain, but you guys are probably interested in what it's like. And I'm sure every home situation is different. It really depends on if you're alone, if you're not, and where exactly you are living.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And I guess I had another one was funny memories. I don't know, or funny incidences. And y'all kind of put everybody on the spot, including myself right now. I don't know if you've noticed on some of the videos, but you'll see that I'm giggling a lot and I'm laughing a lot. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's the joy of the Lord in me. I can't give myself any credit. It must be God. But a lot of times I'll just be laughing at silly things we did, or, for example, the second night into our homelessness, our younger daughter was in a car wreck. We have that on another video. And I remember boldly and proudly telling the emergency medical technician guy, we live in our truck. And I was just smiling. I thought that was such a great thing. And he just looked at me like that was the most terrible thing I could have ever said to him. And I thought, why did he look at me like that? And then he just kind of walked away in a hurry. So that was kind of funny looking back now, because I was just so proudly telling him, we're homeless. We're living in our truck. Looking back now, I know now what not to do, especially in this city. We are frowned upon. There's been some nice people, and we know that some of y'all are subscribed to our channel, so we appreciate that, and we appreciate that you've been just showing the light of Jesus to us and to just people in general. So I do appreciate that. You know who I'm talking about. We really appreciate you. We love you. Thank you so much. And I pray that you continue to do what you're doing, just reaching to people and just going up to total strangers and sharing Jesus with them. Thank you so much. And may God bless you 100-fold for that, double-fold. So,
I really can't think of anything funny.
Well, it's not funny for some of us, but it is kind of funny when you know, like a cricket jumps in the pickup. It kind of you know, makes things lively for a little bit. Because certain people over here, she doesn't like crickets.
Valentine's terrified of crickets, and I know we shouldn't laugh, but looking back, we look at it, and she just acts so silly, you know. I mean, she doesn't mean to, but she's really terrified of it. One of them landed on her shoulder one time, and she just went into the shakes. Oh my goodness. But looking back now, we can laugh about it, but she's probably thinking it's not very funny for her. And as you can tell, Mike is over here catching mosquitoes
Or whatever they are.
one after another. So sometimes you just have to laugh at life, you know?
Yes.
It's not always good to just go around and say, woe is me, and oh, my life is terrible. And we just have to be thankful and grateful for what God has given us. He's with us every day. You know, and yes, life gets hard sometimes. Life gets hard living in a home. We know that. I would think that it was harder then than it is now. Wouldn't y'all say that?
Yes.
Especially the last one.
Yeah. Yeah, the last house we had a lot of high bills, and oh my goodness. It was a big house. Maybe we could show pictures of it someday just so y'all could see how fancy it was. It was it was listed at $422,000, a beautiful white stone house, gorgeous. I don't know the square footage, but it was a beautiful home. But I always wanted to put a banner outside that says, big house does not equal happy house, because we were not happy living in that home. We're a lot happier now, except for our younger daughter. She took the homeless journey a lot more difficult than any one of us put together, and that's why she's now in her apartment that she's having to work 2 jobs. One is full-time job, one is a part-time job. So in order to pay for the apartment living is not cheap. I'm sure y'all know that. It's outrageous, just outrageous. So yeah, but yeah, so I think that we covered everything. Unless y'all can come up with any other questions that you want to ask us. I just know that in Texas heat, it can get up to 107 degrees in the summer sometimes with a heat index of 112 or something, which is extremely hot. And as a homeless family, that is not fun. That is one thing I'm not looking forward to when July and August hit, because that's our hottest months. And we can't always have the engine on with the air conditioning running. And you might want to pray for that. I think our air conditioning is not working as well as it should. It's not. I wouldn't think it's very cold at all. And we can't run it the whole time. We have to roll down the windows and just literally, I can feel the sweat going down my legs on some days. It's just so hot.
And the only reason I'm wearing a jacket is so I don't get bit
by mosquitoes, right? Right.
But yeah, last summer was ridiculously hot.
Right.
Ridiculous.
And this time I think it's more humid than anything else, and that's your body just feels sticky, and you just want to jump in the shower, but you can't jump in the shower whenever you want to. So yeah.
And in Texas, it doesn't get cool until late October. Because we've had summers where it's still summer in October.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But yeah.
Yep.
So we just thought we'd give you an update, and just so you all know, for those of you who have not been with us since the beginning of our journey, we are homeless because God wanted us to be this way, and we're not blaming Him. We see it as a great opportunity, like my husband is sharing, to get involved in the ministry. Because we don't just do talks and songs and that kind of thing. We help others. Not that it's bringing us glory. The glory goes to God. But we've been able to use the surplus funds from the home being auctioned off to help others in need, and that's all God. God has asked us to do that, and we've been able to give because of that. He's given us that opportunity to be able to do that where we have not been able to in the past. And so the YouTube channel is much more than just a channel. It's a full-blown ministry. We are very busy working for the Lord. We cannot say, oh, I'm bored today. What am I going to do today? No, we've got things that we got to do around the clock. And sometimes I just recently told somebody, you've heard of the saying, there are not enough hours in the day. Well, recently I told somebody there's not enough days in the week. I know that's a terrible thing to say, but that's just how busy we've been. But it's all for a good thing. We're not complaining for being busy. I'm glad that we're busy. I'd rather be busy than bored.
Right.
That's for sure. And as long as we're doing it for the Lord, that's what counts. So we hope that some of y'all have been encouraged by some of our talks and in our journey, our walk with this homelessness, and let us know any questions that you have. We'll be glad to answer them, and please be respectful. If we've had some kind of rude comments in the past,
Especially on that last homeless video.
yeah, and
Right.
interestingly enough, I think those people are mostly people just passing through. It seems like it. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, and you get to say the famous last words.
Yes. I was going to say that something kind of important.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's on you. Wow, I guess I'm getting old. Oh yeah, just a reminder. You're probably wondering, like, because some of the comments in the last one were like, I don't see how you can think this is a good thing. Just remember, no matter what you're going through, it doesn't matter if your circumstances change or not. It's like I said a while ago, what matters is your relationship with the Lord. And a lot of that depends on if you're watching, if you're a Christian or not. And we hope and pray that you are. And if you don't know what it means to have Jesus as your Savior, you're welcome to email us for his namesake 106@gmail.com. Or anyone who is Christian or not can leave us an email. If you have a question or prayer request, we'd be happy to answer you. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing, is having a relationship with Jesus to help you through anything.
Exactly. Yeah.
And on that note, we hope that you click that like button, subscribe, and click the notification bell, and Lord willing, we will see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.